Welcome to Scorched Earth. This is going to be a mid-month general reading for the sign of Sagittarius, Sun, Moon and Ascendant. If you don't know what your Moon or Ascendant signs are, have a look in the description box below. There's a link down there that will help you. There's probably a ton of other information down there that you might find interesting as well, so yeah, have a look. Right, thank you. My most heartfelt gratitude to you, because on Monday I got out of bed and discovered that I had sailed over the 10,000 subscribers mark, which is absolutely phenomenal. Obviously I saw it coming, but the moment when I realised it actually happened was quite special. And even though you weren't all there, I was thinking of you all and doing a little dance. So thank you to all those people who have subscribed, liked the videos, commented, shared, reached out for personal readings, messaged me, donated to the channel. You know, all of this comes together to create what is going on here. And my intention was always to get on here and try and help people and build a little community, and that does feel like it's what's happening. So thanks. Retrograde is over. Mercury went direct on Monday also, which probably helped my mood, not even gonna lie. And I hope you weren't feeling too put out by the Piscean energy. Obviously we're still in it at the moment, but it does feel like it's waning somewhat. It was kind of amplified by the retrograde energy, I think. Certainly all the Leos that I know suffered immensely, as did Gemini, as did Aquarius, and it seems like it had a kind of knock-on effect for the other fire signs as well. So, but we're good, we're done. Now, this is a monthly reading, and so as such it's usually shorter, right? I just pulled 3 cards for where your energy is at right now, 3 cards for what's coming towards you, and 3 cards of advice. And I have actually already recorded this video. I did it last night, along with Cancers. But the message didn't feel like it was quite as clear as it could have been. And I felt pulled this morning to re-record it. So what I'm intending to do is do this reading now, and if the message is broadly the same, then I shan't bother uploading the other one. I'll try and make it more clear in this one. If it's slightly different, then I might upload both and have this one as a bonus reading. But we'll see. I mean, I don't like it when it's not clear to me what is being said, but ultimately, you know, that's my ego talking, and it doesn't need to be clear to me. It needs to be clear to the people who are watching. So we'll see what happens. So with all of that in mind, potentially keep an eye out for another video. I'll know by the end of this one if I'm going to upload it or not. I would think. Let's get you 3 cards for where your energy is right now. 3 cards for Sagittarius, 15th to the 31st. Oop. I've got the Hanged Man. It's a card of Pisces in the Major Arcana. The Hermit. These are different cards. We'll get one more. One more card for Sagittarius, please. I'm using totally different decks as well, just in case that makes a difference. One more card for Sagittarius. Ooh. 8 of Cups. Okay. On the bottom of the deck, we've got the Hierophant, which is the card of Taurus. It talks about stability and commitment, sometimes hierarchy, you know, establishments, businesses, churches, schools, universities, marriage sometimes. On the 4 of Cups and the Justice card, right? So that can talk about divorce. I'm just going to throw that up there, right? Justice and the Hierophant together can talk about divorce, particularly when with the 4 of Cups, which is about rejection of offers. Okay, so I'm going to try not to clarify anything because that makes the video shorter. And I understand that not everybody has half an hour to sit down and watch these things. I was told by somebody in a comment that I should limit all of my videos to 10 to 12 minutes. But I was rather irked by the instructional nature of that. Don't really like being told what to do. So I'm going to keep doing it how I like to do it because it's my fucking channel. Thank you very much. Anyway, first card you've got is the Hanged Man. And it's the card of Pisces, but I don't feel like I don't feel like that this is a person around you. It feels like an energy. And it feels like an energy that you are in at the moment. And it's somewhat a state of suspended animation, right? Sorry, I'm already kind of cross-referencing against yesterday's reading and seeing similarities. It can talk about the acquisition of knowledge through, suspending yourself upside down and seeing the world in a different perspective. And that's possible. You might be gaining a new perspective on something, but there's certainly an idea of you kind of waiting here, which is not something that Sagittarius is particularly prone to do. You don't really keep still enough to wait, but there's a certain level of calm before the storm kind of thing. You're kind of waiting out to see what happens with something and trying to remain impassive broadly while you observe what is going on, right? That's where the new perspective comes in. There's a sense of you waiting to see how things play out, right? Which is quite interesting, because Sagittarius would usually just pick themselves up and wander off and go do something else, because waiting involves standing still, and that's not a comfortable place for you. But you're doing this willingly, because that's the other message from the Hanged Man card. It is a willing submission to a waiting energy. Right? The second card you've got is the Hermit. Now that's the card of Virgo. And again, just as with the Hanged Man, you could be dealing with a Pisces, you could be dealing with a Virgo, but it talks about going within, and knowing that all the answers are there. Right? And these two cards together are really quite powerful, because there's a lack of action implied by both of them. Yes, there's kind of movement implied by the Hermit, but except that there's not. Because although you are going within, it's not like you're kind of there with a shovel kind of digging around trying to find the answer. The Hermit is all about being still enough for the answers to rise by themselves. It's waiting, again, just as this is. It's suspended animation in both of these things. And there is a sense of waiting to see how things play out. And very much keeping your own counsel as well. The Hermit is not an energy of somebody who's talking to other people to try and find answers. This is you keeping yourself very much to yourself and waiting to see how it plays out. And then we've got this Eight of Cups. And the Eight of Cups is about moving away from things that no longer emotionally fulfill you, right? There are 8 cups, and they're stacked here. And so one assumes that there's a level of time and care that's gone into the acquisition of these cups, because you don't just have them fall into your lap. You have to build on that. But the way the cups are stacked is to draw attention to the fact that there is one missing, right? There should be one there, directly underneath where that bird is, right? And when you have 9 cups, you have wish fulfillment. This bird's turning his back on these 8 cups, and he's walking away to go and find his wish fulfilled. That's the message of the card. Because whatever used to mean something to him, whatever these cups contain, right, they no longer do. It doesn't fulfill them, the bird, in the same way. Now, if these shadow cards are correct and you've potentially got a divorce on the cards, then that would make absolute sense. But there's not really a wounded energy to this. It's a very considered energy. This bird hasn't just turned its back on a whim. There's been some thought gone into this. There's been perhaps some perspective gone into this. And that's where you are at the moment. So I'm going to give these a shuffle. I'm going to see what's coming towards you. So this does seem much clearer. I said in the other video that it was interesting. Sagittarius is the one sign that's been cropping up in every other reading that I've been doing for all of the other signs. Like, you've kind of been on a bit of a mission, going around and healing up people in your environment, those people that you do care for. And it seems like it's because you've managed to equalise yourself in some way. And Sagittarius, as represented by the Temperance card, when fully balanced themselves, they kind of wander around like a tower of healing. You know, anybody in their AOE gets kind of their health risen, their emotional health, just by dint of being in the area of effect of a Sagittarius who is resonating at the right frequency. So it's coming towards Sagittarius, please, in the last 2 weeks of March. And one more. So we have, and, okay. Now this is interesting because the centre card is the Ten of Pentacles, and that was one of your major cards last night as well. Yeah, we've got the Six of Pentacles under there. Balance, definitely rocking some balance at the moment. So the three cards for what's coming towards you are the Six of Cups, the Ten of Pentacles, and the Nine of Pentacles. And this is a really positive set of cards, right? The Six of Pentacles, no, the Six of Cups is for me a card of the past, right? That's it. It's really beautiful. It can sometimes indicate children, and if you have children, if children are affected by this situation, then it's possible that there's a situation coming up with them that might require your attention. But for me, quite often, it goes back more than that, right? It goes back to your childhood, or potentially even further still, you know, and past life stuff. And that's how it comes to mean soulmates, which quite often does for me as well. I'm going to pull a couple of clarifiers, because I'd like to nail down which one of those is the collective energy before I go any further. What about the Six of Cups, please? We've got two straight in. Ah, got two sevens. Two cards that you've got to clarify are the Seven of Swords and the Seven of Pentacles. It's two sevens, right? Sevens, very spiritual numbers. They talk about if fives are uncomfortable shifts and the sixes are the moving away from that discomfort, then the seven is kind of like, is the amalgamation of that lesson sometimes for me, right? Because it's kind of a number of evolving somewhat. So it's kind of taking that slightly fraught energy in the five and the six, and it's turning into something that you understand a little better, right? Because we also have the Seven of Cups. That's three sevens. That's a fairly meaningful message. Tell me that Seven of Swords, who's being deceptive here, please. The Seven of Swords, that one there, is a card of deception, often, right? And that can be somebody trying to deceive you. That can be you trying to deceive yourself about a situation. Or it can be somebody else deceiving themselves about a situation. And coming up with the Seven of Pentacles, it seems to suggest that the deception involves the status quo, but not just the status quo, the past as well, right? Six of Cups is the past. The Seven of Pentacles is the current situation that you find yourself in, right? And the Seven of Pentacles is for me often a card of taking a sit rep, right? Looking at the situation and working out whether you want to invest or divest your energy, your resources. Because usually the plant and the Seven of Pentacles, it's kind of looking a little bit fucked up, right? And it's got like potato blight or something. So there's a possibility that the crop that you're going to get from that Seven of Pentacles isn't quite what you anticipated it would be, right? You've put a lot of effort into growing it to where it is. But is the smart move now to pull that out, clean the soil, and start again, right? Or do you continue, you know, with a bit of miracle grow and hope that it kind of picks up? It's asking you to make an assessment about it. But this Seven of Pentacles, coming up with the Seven of Swords, suggests that there's a level of deceit about what a situation is right now and what it was in the past. And I'm not sure that it's yours. It could absolutely be yours. But you seem to be in such a reflective mood at the moment. Like, I don't feel like you've got it in you to be deceptive with yourself. You know, the Hanged Man is a very knowledgeable card. It's like gaining wisdom, new perspective, all of that kind of thing. The Hermit, you're sitting there and waiting for the answers to bubble up because you know that they're there and they're cool. Yeah, Hanged Man again, right? This is either a realisation, what's coming towards you for the last 2 weeks of March. It's either a realisation that you have deceived yourself about a situation and how it is, right? Or that somebody in your environment has deceived themselves about it and needs to gain new perspective just as you have done. And I feel like the reason that the Hanged Man is there is because it is somebody else that needs to do it, right? You're already there. You're already in that energy right now. You are rocking that. That's what this thing is. But somebody around you isn't accepting it and doesn't believe it to the same degree that you do, right? Those there. The next card that you've got for what's coming towards you is the Ten of Pentacles, and that's an awesome card. Right? That's the pinnacle of the Pentacles suit. It talks about, well, stability. Yes. Security, yes. Commitment, yes. Longevity, yes. But it can also be the inheritance card. It's possible. It's been popping up for a lot of the signs, actually. You know, complete material fulfillment is kind of like the byline for this card. But it can be business. So if you have your own business, that's the thing. It can be family as well. But whatever it is, there's a sense that there's a lot of time and effort that's gone into creating it, right? And there's something solid here now that isn't just for you because it's a 10. Like, if it was just for you, we'd expect to see the 9, but it's a 10. So it's for you and it's for other people as well, right? Other people will gain the benefit from this. See how there are lots of crows on there. Yeah. So this could be a family situation. It could be a business situation. It could be work. You know, take it as it resonates to you. Tell me about this Ten of Pentacles. But it's certainly, it seems to suggest that, oh, I like that. I like that a lot. Okay. Get one more for the Ten of Pentacles. Page of Wands. Love it. Ooh, 3 of Wands on the bottom of the deck. Expansion. There's going to be some fairly impressive improvement in your material circumstances, right? Coming up very soon. Because what you've got to clarify is the Mage, which is the Magician in the standard deck, and the Page of Wands. The Page of Wands can sometimes be news, right? Really good news that gets you excited. But all the pages for me are kind of like the cards of new starts, right? Incidentally, for me, the Page of Wands is also the card of Sagittarius. But the Mage, which is kind of the important bit of this, is a manifesting energy, right? And what you're manifesting, fucking that. Like, you can't really get any better than that. There's either some new ideas that you're going to implement, right? And you do them so perfectly that it ends up in the Ten of Pentacles energy. Well, there's a sense of you moving in perhaps a slightly different direction. You know, now you've established your base, which the Ten of Pentacles is, right? It's freeing you up to kind of expand and perhaps tread a slightly different path to the one that you'd initially anticipated at the point at which you were setting this up. That energy, you know, whether it's family, whether it's work, whatever, take it as it resonates to you. But the Mage is really powerful, and you are in a really powerful place at the moment because your vibration is rising, you know, doing really good things. The final card for what's coming towards you is the Nine of Pentacles. And do you remember how I said I would expect to see the 9 if this was about, you know, improving your personal circumstances? Well, here it is. You know, the 9 and the 10 of Pentacles are two extremely positive cards, and together, you know, what it seems to suggest that what you are doing for yourself also has the benefit of knocking on to other people. But interestingly enough, because it's come out in this order, comme ça, it's like what you've set up for other people, you know, with the good of other people in mind, is now improving your circumstances too. Tell me about this 9 of Pentacles. Fuck. 9 of Pentacles, please. 10 of Pentacles. 9 of Pentacles. King of Wands. I'll get one more. Now this is interesting because this card did come out in the last reading that I did for you. And I feel like perhaps the message is the same. This one definitely carries across, right? And there was a lot of 10 of Pentacles energy in the last reading. Like, I might fucking upload the pair of them, to be honest, and you just watch them both and see which one resonates to you, because they are slightly different. They are looking at slightly different perspectives, but what's coming towards you is broadly the same, actually. So what you've got to clarify, this 9 of Pentacles, you know, this is self-sufficiency, right? This is being able to look after yourself in the material sense. It's great independence, right? But then we've got the 10 of Pentacles again and the King of Wands. Now, the King of Wands strictly is Leo. And if there's a Leo in your midst, then that's possibly who this is. But as a fire sign, this could quite easily be you as well, because the King of Wands is an entrepreneur. Right? There's that a great entrepreneurial spirit about this. He doesn't... Of all the kings, he's not really the one to sit down and let other people do stuff for him, right? He sits still because he has to for a certain amount of time. But there's a possibility of kind of getting his own hands dirty and getting stuck in, you know, with everybody else. Then he takes it. And you seem to be moving into a situation of some actually quite impressive material abundance at the moment, but it's all at your own hands, because we've got this King of Wands here, because we've got this Mage here, because we've got this 9 of Pentacles here, right? This is all at your hands. You are doing all of this. And I'm just going to mention this card because this is the one that I was, you know, so it came out in the other one. It's the 4 of Swords. What I got last night was a real sense that come Aries season, that injection of fire from your sister sign, Aries, is going to bring a lot of very exciting things your way. Right? A lot of exciting things your way. And I very much get the impression that you're going to pounce on all of them, because that's just what you do. But I don't think your feet are going to touch the ground for the entirety of the summer. Like, everything's going to go very fast. Things are going to take off. And what you need to do, what's extremely important for you to do, is to use this 2-week period to kind of try and rest a little bit, because come Aries season, that opportunity is going to be minimized. And if you don't make it part of your daily practice right now to take 15 minutes, half an hour for yourself every now and again, you know, during the course of the day, just to sit and fucking breathe. I mean, if you meditate, then do more of that. If you don't meditate, I really suggest that you take it up, right? Cultivate a bit of space, not only in your mind, but also in your day, to rest and pull yourself together, because you run the risk of burnout if you don't, right? There's so much stuff coming in. You are manifesting so much stuff, but you need to be able to balance that out, right? Like, you believe it or not, Sagittarius, you are not an endless supply of energy, and you're going to keel over in a couple of months' time if you don't find time to make space for yourself, right? So let's get some cards of advice. It was very positive and similar, very similar sort of message, really. There was a bit of a warning in the last one, so I think I might stick that up there. There was sort of impending legal situations that kind of called for you to scrutinise. I'll let you watch it if you want to. I have 3 cards of advice for Sagittarius, please. There's one. I'll find it in a second. 3 cards of advice for us. That was all of them then. So 1, 2, and 3. Oh, that's interesting. So one of the cards of advice is exactly the same as last night, which is interesting. And that for me then this is a message that really needs carrying over. So the 3 cards that you got for advice are Strength, card of Leo, the major arcana, the World, which depicts the 4 fixed signs, so Aries, Aquarius, Taurus, Scorpio and Leo, and the Queen of Cups, which is strictly Cancer, but you know, if you've got any of those signs hanging around and they're helpful to you, then that's great. If not, if these are energies, and I do believe they are because it's advice, then it goes as follows, right? Strength. The true depiction of strength in this card is not the lion, right? It's the crow sat on top of the lion's nose, right there, right? It doesn't talk about physical strength, it talks about strength of character. And you have a lot of it, right? You are elevating yourself in the energy that you're sitting in at the moment because you are taking the time to be reflective. You're looking at situations, you may be looking at your behaviour, you may be looking at, you know, other people's behaviour, and there's a sense of you not really sitting in judgment, just kind of waiting to see how things are playing out, right? Before you make a judgment about things, which means that you are acting in a very mature way. You're not reacting, you're waiting until you've got all of the information and then you are acting, right? That is a very strong thing to do. When we see the Strength card, usually it means that circumstances are a little bit tricky at the moment because you're being called to call on that, you know, reserve of strength that you have in order to see you through. But it's soft, right? It doesn't need to be battering people over, and that's not at all what you're doing anyway. You know? But the other thing that the Strength card talks about is growth, right? You are growing as a person, and respect the process, right? And I do believe that you are, because you're exhibiting all the right kind of attitude up here, and that's excellent. Then we've got the World card. A cycle has ended. You know, whatever it is that you've been sitting in and reflecting on and all that kind of thing, right? That cycle of your life is now closed, and you have brought that to conclusion. This 2-week period that I'm kind of reading for right here feels like a kind of, it's that a vacuum between the end, and the beginning of a new cycle, right? And you're doing exactly the right things. You're kind of compiling all of the lessons that you've learned in this previous cycle, and you're getting ready to move off. And I genuinely do think Aries season will be the beginning of that for you. But everything that you learned in here, right, take it on board, because it was really important lessons for you, right? As you move into the new cycle, when that starts, you'll be taking all of this experience with you. You'll be taking all of this understanding with you, and you will elevate to a point that you could not reach in this previous cycle, right? Nice, excellent. Now this Queen of Cups, as I read her last night as an energy, I felt like it was a bit of a warning more than anything else, because it seemed like there was some slightly kind of underhand stuff going on, like not from you, but possibly from somebody else towards you. And I felt like what it was doing was asking you not to close yourself off to people, you know, not to become distrustful or anything like that. You know, all of this too shall pass, right? But the important bit of it is making sure that you remain open, making sure that you remain receptive to good things, because good things are coming in for you. But if you're dealing with other people who are projecting onto you, if you're dealing with other people who cannot accept, you know, what the status quo is, and if they haven't accepted that things have ended, that this cycle has closed out, then, you know, it would be possible to get a little bit jaded with everything, a little bit, you know. Whatever happens, you know, however you proceed, keep yourself open. Keep yourself, I'm seeing a dolphin. Keep yourself open, keep yourself playful, keep yourself receptive, right? Don't shut down emotionally in order to deal with this negativity over there, right? Because that's part of your lesson as well. That's part of your thing. Shutting down is not the way forwards. I'm not suggesting that you know, overly engage or anything like that, but just keep hold of your own peace, right? Keep moving forwards at your pace and you'll be fine. Right, so I'm going to leave it there because this is, you know, obviously as a second reading for you is now half an hour longer than I'd initially intended to read for Sagittarius altogether. If the message resonated, I'd love it if you would like the video, consider subscribing, all of that kind of lovely thing. You know, and thank you again. I hope I remain worthy of your support, you know, for the long term, because I'm not really planning on going anywhere. I want to stay here. So, yeah. I shall return in probably about 10, 12 days, something like that, for the April monthly readings. So until then, take care and see you soon.